Hey everybody, this is Talkative Carl back again for another movie spoiler review. This is gonna be like a fairly quick video. Well, this one and another one, because they're just Hallmark Christmas movies, so we're not gonna spend too much time on it. But I'm starting to begin to include, because I know I gotta pretty soon gonna be wrapped up with the Spider-Man movies leading up to Spider-Man 3 in a couple of weeks, or at least 3 weeks by this point. And I still got to wrap up like some Batman movies along the way. But I want to start to weave in some Christmas movies uh, leading up to Christmas Day. And I want throw I'll cover the major kind of iconic Christmas movies like Home Alone and Jingle All the Way. But I also want to throw in every once in a while some Hallmark slash Lifetime Christmas movies in the mix, because and not for one, not I don't think that many people cover reviewing movies like this. Also, I personally, just out of like my own personal tradition. It's not even I don't even know why or how it got started so many years ago. That as corny as these things can be, and I don't watch these Hallmark or Lifetime any other time of the year, but when November hits after Halloween is over, from that moment on to Christmas Day, or maybe a little bit after, I like to, to find it like just charming to watch some Hallmark stuff, because I don't know why. I can't really explain why there's, like, it's like, yeah, this is like, I know it's like, it's like, like how people view watching those crappy CW, TV shows. It's like, it's I forgot the term, of it just kind of like bad fun kind of stuff to watch. Uh, and it's like it's schlocky, is it's kind of thing. It's like, but it's just I don't know. Is it something about it? Just like it's like, but it's not everything I watch. I don't watch them all. Whatever piques my interest, I will check it out. And sometimes, by and large, there's a few that if I see it again, I will return back to, because it's like, it's not too bad, kind of thing. There's one in mind that I'm going to start rewatching again and do a video possibly by some point next week. At some point next week, when I have the time, because I'm gonna be busy at work, Sunday through Wednesday. Luckily, I'm not working on Thursday or Friday, and obviously Saturday. So I want to make sure that I'll squeeze in some time for some Pokemon. Luckily, I only got that one game to do a walkthrough for, but it gives me enough time to cover like some movies. But we'll get to that. Today, I want to talk about this Hallmark Christmas movie called An Ice Wine Christmas. It stars Rosalind Sanchez, who plays Camilla. Lyric Bent plays Declan. Patrick Kwok-chun plays Gabe. And Anna Maria Demira, who plays Camilla's sister Beth. And then we got Maria Del Mar plays the mother Sunny, and Richard Fitzpatrick, who plays the godfather Henry. Now, Rosalind Sanchez, like, she's one of those character actors you see every once in a while, and it's a funny thing. You expect someone like her, of all people, I know it's like it's Hollywood, like they grab up, hot people like their candy, and it's like they're hoarding them all over and hoarding them in L.A. But it's amazing. Maybe it's because her choice. It's got to be her choice. That the fact that she's like, she found her lane as like a character actress, maybe, and it's like she doesn't want to be like the next Angelina Jolie or anything like that. See, I think she's content with doing, what she's doing. She likes acting. It's not saying like one size fits all, but you can tell like certain actors know their like a particular lane that they fit in. They ain't trying to be like the next Brad Pitt or nothing like that. It's like some are just content on being like character actors. They don't need to be all A-listers or whatever like that. They find their stride. We don't have to be bogged down by the BS that's Hollywood. And I think that's kind of thing I kind of want to do. It's like this. I mean, not like on screen kind of thing, but I mean just like I'm content with just lending voices to things and not trying to be the next Tara Strong or anything like that. I just want to just D. Bradley Baker is a good example. It's like he can just get paid well for doing animal voices or creature voices, and it's like, yeah, I could do that because like I just like get paid handsomely and spend a few hours in a booth just making noises, and I'm good making a decent living at it, and that's awesome. That's what I like to do. Anyway, Rosalind, like I said, plays this sommelier in Philadelphia, who he opens at this like winery or at least a restaurant where she's gifting this couple who just got proposed to, or at least got engaged, and she's presenting them with this nice little bottle of wine to commemorate the engagement. And this dude, like the guy who proposed, kind of like Bruno Mars' little brother or something like that, because he just gave very Bruno Mars in the face and with the hair and everything like that. I kind of want to know like what was their Hallmark story to leading up to this part, because can you imagine like a shared universe for Hallmark Christmas movies or something like that? That'd be funny. But Camilla, you get the, she works with this guy named Roberto who's super Italian, and it's like border, not all the way there, but it's like kind of borderline stereotypical Italian, not like Super Mario level, but definitely like subtle hints like bene, like random Italian words, and it's like okay, tone it down there, Luigi. And then he, offers her like he's so like thrilled with their Camilla's, I would say Camilla's success, and he wants her to, it's typical thing for like Hallmark and Lifetime movies is like, oh, she's got this big break of big job offer that she got to take by Christmas or after Christmas, and like that's what she initially wants to do until like she goes to this small town or reconnect with everybody, blah blah blah, kind of thing. Now, obviously, he's not going to take it. I wish I wish some movies like this kind of flip the script on that kind of situation. Like, oh, I'll take it, sure. Side note. There was like a, last year, The Simpsons did like a funny, probably in the longest time, one of the funniest episodes where they pretty much make fun of the Hallmark Christmas type of cliches. And if you have Disney Plus, I highly recommend you looking up. You don't have to go too far. Just look up the last season around the holidays, and check it out because it's like extremely funny, and it hit the beats on like a lot of people's issues with like Hallmark movies. And every once in a while, when I come across a Hallmark movie or a Lifetime movie that kind of flip the scripts or like turn it on its head in some kind of way, I want to give it a shout out. I want to give it some praise, and I would probably more than likely return to it almost every year because they don't follow that same trend. And I give kudos to whoever writer or director involved. Uh, uh, okay, and she goes back to her hometown. You know, meets up with the Godfather, who Henry, who's been taking care of like the vineyards there for the longest time. I mean, he has a particular way of doing things. It seems very not mystical, but it's like a very uh, home remedy type of ways of handling certain ways of doing it rather than the scientific way, which in general you would think most wineries will handle the process of making wines from grapes. And you later find out he's like retiring and going to be moving, and so he hires Declan, who's this kind of like a weather analysis type of guy who helps, Henry helps to like, be able to, fundamentally, uh, because he want to leave it to, uh, Camilla's sister to make sure to like, her and anybody else can replicate a very simplified method in order to make sure this vineyard maintains itself long after he's gone. And of course, this is not sitting well to Camilla because she doesn't like change, and because she's the type of person that believes in that Christmas magic and like this home remedy type of way of doing things. And then she's like not antagonistic, but kind of like hey, she's like against Declan, who she meets and later, and the whole family, the mother, the sister, and the sister's boyfriend, all get together and discuss what the plan is to try to make sure this maintains itself. And as he mentions, like I'm not the bad guy, just being hired to do a job to make sure this place is sustainable. And I give kudos to this because it usually be the other way around, where it's like a scientific based character who has a particular business, has a way of doing things, and here comes the touchy feely you gotta learn to put your feet in the soil so you can like know when the earth is moving, so you can be able to know. It's usually that kind of crap. And it's not saying it's crap, and it's like there is something to it to some extent. But I'm glad this is kind of like a flipping on his head, where it's like it's the touchy feely magic person that gotta learns to let a little bit of science in. There's like there's it's not one way of doing things. Like and as Declan points out later in the film, science is not soulless. I mean, because even there's like a discussion where how like, she brings up you gotta learn to taste the soil, and he brings up about like some monks who, scientists long ago, be able to utilize this method in order to predict certain things, and it's like he mentions like science is not soulless. Because if there's any other, if it was Hallmark from back in the day, they would make, science seems like a, like, oh, ooh, science, you don't know what is good for the heart kind of situation. It's like, no, it's like, yeah, there's room for both. I gotta say, I mean, this is pretty much something about like, a winery type of person. And for one thing, you get from Declan, you get to learn a little bit about like how the science evolved into vineyards and winery. But I also want to give kudos to Hallmark and Lifetime in the past few years. They've been working with making movies like this more inclusive, because you got like a Puerto Rican family for the most part. One owns a bake shop. Always got a bake shop or woodworking or something like that. But also got like a vineyard and everything like that. This is like a small business, and that's the next movie I'll be bringing up will be another thing about small businesses. Movies like this got a hard on for small businesses. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Small businesses are definitely like a good thing, and definitely is needed. But it doesn't mean like all big businesses got to be bad, even though most of them are. But it just got like somehow there's got to be like a balance here. You can't like make one look like the devil, while at the same time trying to prop another thing up. Gotta some nuance to it, which I'll say in the next film is about some nuance to that. But I do appreciate like the inclusiveness. You got like an Asian husband to the sister, and it brings up, because I haven't seen this, but I saw it come up last holiday, where Fran Drescher and like I'm pretty sure this guy was on the CW like Arrow TV show, but because he's like a homosexual in real life, and it's like they have like him meeting this guy, and they do the Hallmark thing, but instead of like a guy and a girl, these are two men and like trying to like looking for love kind of situation. They're doing the same methods, but they're applying it to two men who love each other, and Fran Drescher's character is trying to get them together kind of situation. And it's like I didn't see it, but it's like I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. It's like things like that, and then like interracial kind of couples, and from the past at least 3 or 4 years, they've been doing a lot more of that. So I give them props for that, and I give them props for not making like a huge spectacle about it. Unlike the CW, who like to pat itself on the back half the time from doing just like, or like the way DC Comics in the past few months when they touting very woke type of stuff, like, oh, Superman's son is bisexual. Look, everybody, we making like Superman bisexual. Clark Kent's son is bisexual. Look at us. Look at how woke and forward thinking we are. Come read our books. And it's like, tone it down a notch. You don't need to make it a whole thing out of it. It's like I like to like. I wish I had a clip of Iron Man 2 with introducing Don Cheadle as James Rhodes, and it's like, look, I'm here. Let's go ahead and move. I'm here. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's go. Look on. It's like, yeah, look, we're here. Look, let's move on. So making a big thing out of it, and it's like that was that. Yeah, I appreciate it. I wish we could apply that method to like things that's good. We don't need to make a spectacle about it. It's good to see interracial relationships. We don't need to present it out there like it's a Broadway show. Like, look at us. We're like interracial relationships. It's like blacks. It's not a big thing. It's not. Don't make it a thing of it. Anyway, sorry, I went off on a tangent, but it's like I gotta appreciate the the forward thinking, but not the spectacle of the whole thing. But then like things get they get a little bit close. She's Camilla's trying to show Declan about like her family, and like trying to teach him about like because his family they don't stay home for Christmas. They usually go on trips for Christmas, which I gotta admit it kind of sounds whack. I won't say whack, but it's kind of like I'm pretty sure there are times when people may travel for Christmas kind of situation. Like, he mentioned about going to Paris and Spain for the holidays. I picture maybe like 1 or 2 times, a family might do that. But every time. Like, how lame is that? Does that sound when you don't like just be home for the holidays? And Camilla's like, showing him around town, getting involved with family and Christmas traditions and wrapping presents. And it's like, that's pretty dope. It's nice to you appreciate moments like that. We can just be home for the holidays. Because it's honestly, it is sad if you're like by yourself with nobody to celebrate the holidays with. It's like, it is, the most. And I know the suicide rates kind of situation goes up around the holidays, but like, I implore you that if you have anybody, spend the holidays, with them, so you don't have to be alone. And just to, even if it's just to have a nice little spiked eggnog, watching like TV, with your best friend. That can easily make all the difference in the world. That's still the holidays, just to be, with a good friend or family or relatives, a couple, like, with your kids, that kind of thing. Uh, uh, then it's like, Camilla's got him working on little not home renovations, but try to fix his bell tower and everything like that. While she's also kind of like, because she's like, really like, doesn't seem like a kind of person that likes change so much. The fact that she's still like hesitant on trusting, Declan Science, and the fact that she's freaking out because like Henry, I'm kind of that way myself, whereas like it takes me a minute to adjust when something changes that I don't control myself. And it's like, oh God, because it was really, I won't say it's really bad when I was a kid, but it was like, it took me longer as a kid to accept certain changes. And like, I had to, being forced to adjust to a situation. But, it's it's cool. It's like, it's got appreciate. It's not about like the relationship kind of thing. She's like, she's into him, but it's not like it's the problem. It's trying to make sure, she got a particular way of doing things. She wants to make that continue, but she got to understand that cannot continue. You got to make room for something new to make it better. Uh, uh, they like getting very, very close. And then there's a moment where like Declan mentions about how like, I'm actually starting to appreciate, like, I'm listening to Christmas music and I'm actually starting to like it. Starting to. You never not once listen to a Christmas song and you never enjoy not one. That's a weird dialogue. It's not like the line read wasn't the problem. It's what was written for him to say. It seems odd. Like, Christmas music had existed, what, the 40s? And, a few more have been added on and remixed and all this other stuff since then. And it's like, you haven't, and like, even though you traveled for most of your life with your family, you never, not once, heard Christmas songs being played in any store or around the block or radio, or even when you're in the airline, waiting for your next plane ride. I'm pretty sure they're playing Christmas music. Like, why is that like, oh, now I'm getting it. It's like, boy, that was, odd. Oh, well. Because I'm starting to sort of make some notes for things I point out, especially when it comes to movies that I haven't seen before, like 1,000 times, that I can recall like the plot very easily. Movies like this, I'm probably have to make like some notes so I can like remember the key points that kind of like stuck out on for me. Oh yeah, the Christmas decor. I'm like, here's another thing. and it's gonna probably be repeated, at least a few times anytime I bring up a Hallmark Christmas movie. The holiday decor. Now they make a reference to this in the Simpsons episode that I was mentioning before, but it's like they want to make sure a house looks Christmassy. So it's like they make it look like Santa Claus threw up all over the house, where it's like wreaths all over the banisters and like mini Christmas fake trees on shelves and everything like that. Like I like decorating for Christmas too, but I don't want a evergreen filling up in my house. You know what I mean? It's like, like there's little lights, here and there. There's Christmas tree, of course. The Christmas tree should be the only one fully decorated, and that should be like the focal point. Every once in a while, like especially in the living room, you got like a little, string evergreen, along the banisters or whatever. It's like, just enough. They Hallmark and Lifetime like to, when they decorate, it's not like they decorate a town. That's a different thing. You got like a lot to work with to make it, decorated. Like you see with like downtown Chicago, how like it's like crazy decorated. I usually like to go downtown just to see like all the decorations and like the holiday displays. But you shouldn't have a holiday display all up in your house, because that's what it looks like in a lot, in like movies like these, in like a particular character's home, and it's like dial it back a bit kind of situation. Like, we get it. It's a Christmas movie. You don't have to beat us over the head with it. After things get between Declan and Camilla's starting to get a little, oh man, the mother, because she's like very pushy. It's always like a pushy parental figure in these things, and she smiles way too often and hard every time. It's like she's gonna sound like this. Yeah. Oh, I got. It's like she's gonna pop a blood vessel. She's smiling so hard, like real. Jesus, this is like the only mode she has is smile, and she, and like those pushy like relatives or a relative in these things always trying to like, oh, she likes you. Oh, I'm gonna marry him off. It's like, oh my God. It's like, why are you so horny for these two to get together? Relax. It's like, get out your kid's business. Like, jeez. It's like it's always that stereotypical mother that wants grandkids kind of situation. It's like, I'm pretty sure a lot of older parents wants to have some grandkids. We get it. It's cool. But the fact that you keep harping on it seems like it's annoying to a point. And they like to drive that home in these kind of things. But they obviously, Declan and Camilla starting to feel for each other. But then that obligatory turn of events, she sees the sister, Declan and Henry, talking, very little secretly in like the distillery. And she's assuming about like a radical change of the entire vineyard behind her back, and then like hey, I want like we gotta wait for this ice harvest, so when like during this festival, the townspeople can like see like like the frozen like grapes, so they can when it's picked, it's still pretty fresh, and we can make like some very fine ice wine for the holidays. And it kind of makes me want to try ice wine, to be honest with you. After this movie and another movie is going to be about wine as well. I'm going to once I had some wine when I was visiting, because just a side note, only reason I'm just now making a video this, not super late, but I should have started I would have started earlier, but I went to go visit some family in my old neighborhood that I didn't get to see last year because of the pandemic. I wanted to see them before the Thanksgiving hustle and bustle, so I didn't want to have to deal with that then, so that's why I'm doing it now. So I got back like an hour ago, but uh, uh, um, I kind of like I had some wine over there, not crazy amount. It was just like one glass of wine. So like it was very tasty. So like because of these little wine type of Christmas movies that I'm gonna be doing these videos for, you know, I started like appreciate a little bit more of the wine because of these movies. I gotta give it a benefit of that because like sometimes a movie gets you into, you know, you learn something or you get into something because of a movie kind of spotlighted to a point where it's like kind of garners some kind of interest. And it's like I'm sitting there like, you know, swerving around the glass, a couple of sniffs, and then like give it like a taste. And it's like it's not much. It's like a second thing you can do to like appreciate like the aroma. It's supposed to tackle all your senses, so you got to allow it to do it. And so you can appreciate the wine a little bit more. You know, of course, throughout this movie, Declan has predicted like, okay, like, the ice should come about around like the 20th of December, but it didn't show up. Everybody's freaking out, and these two girls, they're screaming. I was like, their screams is like, you know, the sister screaming when she realized like, oh my god, they still didn't come. It's like, geez, you screaming like somebody is attacking you. Why are you screaming that hard? And then like Declan's feeling bad. Like, hey, like I like I like you guys, and then I was the science said it was supposed to come today or at least that night, but they found out later thanks to a bit of the ways of like the whole kind of Christmas magic way of doing things that they used to. It helped along with showing that, hey, just by some feathers from some shedding of feathers from some birds, shows that the ice is coming. It's just going to be coming by Christmas Eve instead of the 20th, the obligatory Christmas Eve or day kind of situation that a big thing's going to happen. So Camilla starts freaking out and screaming bloody murder when she eventually sees that actually happen, which she rings the bell tower like, hear ye, and get all the townspeople waking up. Lord knows how late it is, but they all coming out of their homes thinking like it's like a town fire or some crap. But they all show up to to pick their grapes and everything like that. It's a monumentous occasion. So of course, Declan, Camilla share their feelings, but not before when Henry announces that he wants to leave the vineyard in the hands of Camilla, Declan, and Beth, who all accept it, but they have to be like a tight knit. They got to work as a trio. It won't work without one of them. So this allows Camilla to stay home in her a town of Evergreen, along with Declan, and so it's the movie ends with like them staying together and to help run the vineyard and all the other stuff. So yeah, it's a pretty decent movie. It's it's kind of like a good solid B kind of movie. It's little cliches you have to deal with when it comes to this movie, which I appreciate. That because like I said before, Hallmark is notorious with their cliche Hallmark rudimentary type of ways of writing certain characters like they are not people at all. I think they're starting to get a little bit better in the past couple of years with the way maybe it's because like there's new directors or new CEO of Hallmark who runs everything. There's new blood in this mix where like whoever's grew up watching these kind of movies decide to make sure they make some just do corrections. They keep the same stuff that you would expect from Hallmark, like the obligatory fight thing, the small town business, small town love for Christmas kind of thing. They keep all that stuff, and it's something that you should expect from these kind of things, obviously. But if they beat you over the head with that constant stuff that you've seen like 1,000 times, and you know, uh, it's like a welcome, change of pace whenever you do see something different. Because I've seen enough of these over the years to know which ones stand out above the rest. Because maybe it's not solely, well, it's got to be like solely with the writing, because the writing has to use, if it at the very least use the least amount of the cliches, I call that a win. But there's still like a good handful of the ones that's filled to the brim with the cliches. So that's my review for the Ice Wine Christmas. Definitely worth a watch if you want to check it out. It's running on Hallmark Christmas channel. You might get a kick out of it. So anyway, I'll see you guys next time for another. Get ready for more Christmas movie reviews, for the holidays, up to the point of Christmas Day. And I will see you guys next time. Take care.